endocrine system, and the nervous system. I don't want to get into all of that, okay? So we won't do a whole lot about it. What I want you to know about the difference between nervous system and endocrine system. The difference is the nervous system works quickly, all right? That synapse area, when those chemicals get released, it is a quick response. Now, as we move into the endocrine system, this system is going to secrete hormones. We know them as chemical messengers. This time, the way that they are going to carry out communication, similar but different. We're going to find that the glands, the tissues, and the cells, okay, of the system that are going to secrete these hormones, the way that they're going to act on a target tissue, target cell, is a little bit different, and the actual process that's going to occur can be very long. It's not going to always be quick like the nervous system. The actual process can take much longer. So we're going to see that the system is composed of what we know as endocrine glands. The study of it is endocrinology. This is a huge area of study. Have you ever known someone who's had to go to an endocrinologist? Mm-hmm. Okay. What was wrong?
My child was type 1 diabetic.
Type 1
So
diabetic.
Like when she was younger, she had a lot like really like up and downs. Until she kind of got it figured out.
And how to manage it.
Like we ran at a like fire station together and stuff, and her first day before she even started, she went into diabetic ketoacidosis almost to a coma.
Okay. Okay. Diabetes is a huge one. Okay. And there are more forms of it than just type 1 and type 2. Okay. We have other forms. What would you know what they went for the endocrinologist? Did you say yes?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I mean, when you learn what glands and so forth are present in this system, you're going to see why this is such a huge field of study. It is a way for the cells to communicate cell to cell. Now, in part 1, when you were learning about cells of the body, do you guys remember something called a gap junction? Okay. And just like the name implies, it's a gap that's present in that cell. And it allows for passage of materials. So we're going to see that that's one way that cells can communicate. We have talked a lot about how neurotransmitters can communicate. When we begin to look at these products that are present, like I was saying, hormones, we're going to be chemical messengers. A term that comes along with this is called paracrines. Now, even though we're looking at this with hormones, because they're termed a local hormone, paracrines are going to come back to us when we get to immunity. all right? Because if it is local, that means a cell of the same tissue has the ability to communicate that something is going on to the cells around it. It doesn't necessarily have to go into the bloodstream, travel around the body to come back to the cell next to it. Does that make sense? It can be something local in that one little spot. Like if there is a virus, because that's the huge term now in the news, okay? Like if a virus has tried to invade the body, the cell that's getting attacked can literally say, okay, look, I'm taking one for the team, but you guys mount the defense and take care of this, and that cell will die, okay? But it has sent out information to the surrounding cells to say, mount the defense, all right? Under this system, the majority of what we are going to talk about are what can be transported in the bloodstream. So let's think for a second about our blood vessels, okay? Have we talked about those at all yet? About the blood vessels?
So it's literally like our brain, like barrier system and that stuff.
Okay, all right. Because one of the things to get you guys thinking outside the box. And trust me, I'm not a good outside the box thinker, so I struggle with this, okay? But we'll just simply work on it together, okay? Because I definitely struggle with thinking outside the box. Ask anybody who knows me. Bloodstream. Now, y'all probably think about this, these, those. Does any exchange occur in those? No. Where does exchange of materials take place? At the capillaries. We cannot see those. Okay? All this big stuff that has a name, it is simply the roadway. Okay? It is going to be at the level of a capillary that materials exchange. So that means you have to get to, I wish I had a red, but I don't. Okay, so we'll use green. Pretend that green is red, all right? Because arteries are usually identified in red, veins in blue, okay? So here's what I'm going to try to demonstrate. Heart pumps, blood leaves by way of the aorta. It begins to either ascend, okay, or the arch, and it begins to descend. But as it branches, it continues to branch and branch and branch and branch and branch till we get to areas that are the smallest portion of it, which is a capillary bed. Okay? At that point, for that tissue with its cells, okay, it will make an exchange, pick up waste, go back to the heart by way of my vena cava. And the process starts all over again. It's at the level of a capillary bed. So pretend this is red, and at this point, these arteries, they are very small. Arterioles are their names, okay? And they come into that capillary bed. Here's all extracellular fluid, okay? They meet up with the venous side of that capillary bed, and by venules, materials, waste, leave. Is everybody following me? So my blood flows in. When I get to this point, these capillaries, these vessels, are only one cell layer thick. And they are going to have different types of gaps that could be present, because that allows for movement of materials. All right, so they have different names. I think one of the questions asked, what is a fenestrated artery? Is that one of the questions on the study guide?
Fenestrated capillary.
Fenestrated capillary. Fenestrated is telling us the size of the gap in that capillary. So, if they are fenestrated, meaning the gap, those chemicals, what are my hormones? What are my hormones called? Chemicals. Is everybody with me? Yes, no, maybe. So, those chemicals, which are my hormones, everybody, I know they're kind of small, but I have to keep them small, okay? I kind of try to draw them, moving around in my artery. So now, if I get to a point and it's big enough, what do you think gets to happen? What does that chemical get to do? Does it stay in the bloodstream if it has encountered a fenestration, for example? Does it have to stay in the bloodstream, or can it move to my extracellular fluid? It can move. Does everybody see that? Stop me now. So, my chemicals, my hormones, if this is a tissue that needs it, these hormones can move into my extracellular fluid.
Does it react there? Does that work?
All right, let's see if it will. Okay? Now, we got to think outside the box. I only wrote ECF, extracellular fluid. What does that mean? What does the term extracellular
mean?